AITA for refusing to use my inheritance money to fund medical care for my father's stepkid? The deal is this. I, 19M, got an inheritance from my paternal grandparents 2 years ago. They left it in a trust that safeguarded it from anyone who might try to use it for their own purposes, including my father. I got access to the money when I turned 19, a choice my grandparents made. I was the primary beneficiary, and they left my father the lowest amount possible to prevent him from contesting their will. I haven't lived with my father in 5 years. When he met his wife, he gave me two choices. Either treat them all as family from day one, embrace her two kids as my siblings, and accept her as my mom, or get the hell out and stop sponging off him. I chose to live with my maternal grandparents. For context, my mom died when I was 6. My parents weren't together, and she was my primary caregiver. My father had visitation on weekends before she passed, and after that, I lived with him. But I always felt like he resented me for existing. He acted like it, at least. So when he remarried, I never saw his precious little family again. I don't know his wife or her kids, and I don't feel any obligation to pretend they're my family. A couple of months ago, my father reached out asking me for $40,000 from my inheritance to pay for treatment for one of his stepkids. He sent me links about the condition and treatment options in Switzerland or Germany. He said the kid was getting worse and it might turn fatal. Apparently, it's something the kid was born with, and treatment options are limited. But this one had a chance. Honestly, I was surprised to even get his message. I thought I had blocked him on everything. I told him no and blocked him again. But then he texted me, and I wondered how he got my number since I had changed it after moving in with my grandparents. Turns out, he found it on my late grandparents' phones. He kept sending messages, sharing fundraising links, and saying they'd settle for a different treatment if they could get enough money. I told him to stop. He wasn't getting a dime, blocked his number again, but he wouldn't give up. Next thing I know, my uncle calls me. He wanted to know why I said no and suggested I make my father legally obligated to pay me back with interest. I refused. I told him I wasn't giving them anything. He said I should think about the kid, not who they belong to, because I might be able to save their life. That made me pause. Not because I feel guilty, I don't, but it made me reflect. Because the truth is, I could give the $40,000. Hell, in one of my father's later texts, the amount he asked for even increased, but I could still afford it. And I'm still choosing to say no.